Great, we are live. Hey folks, we are live in our Facebook group, Six Figure House Flipper. I'll have a cough this week. Hey, nice, it's gone away. So I don't have to worry about that anymore, which is great news. Yeah, so we have today's a special treat. I think typically Wednesdays is how I've been doing. We have a Q&A session, question and answer is what Q&A stands for, if you didn't know. But yeah, so we have a Q&A and questions. So I have some kind of prepared questions that I'm going to answer. And then if you want to join in, feel free to comment below. Comment hashtag, or no, comment your question below if you have a question. If you're watching live, comment hashtag live. If you're commenting on the replay, comment hashtag replay. So that's exciting. So feel free to hop in, join in, and then just share with everyone like, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to learn. So just hashtag live and then hashtag replay. It's always good to get some. See that this is helping you guys. This is why I do it. I do it to help you guys. I don't need to spend time out of my day and do this, but I do because it helps you guys out. So that's always good. So. Yeah, so wanted to comment some questions. I wish I had them prepared here, but so we have some questions. So feel free to drop it below if you want to ask a question. We have Alejandra, hashtag live. Thank you so much, Alejandra. Cool. So let's get into it. So so the first one, when did I get a question here recently? Oh, I got a question recently that I like, what's your like renovation philosophy? Someone's like asking like, hey, what do you do with renovations that's made different from others? I think the biggest thing, like my philosophy is like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if the roof is, 10 years old, it's in decent shape, it's not leaking, I don't see any reason. Let's get this camera to adjust here. I don't see any reason we have to do a new roof. Or the same logic applies to someone doing even like changing the layout or opening up walls or opening up the kitchen like that. That's not necessary from what I've seen. Like anytime you open up walls or start to do more things, like it's opening up a can of worms. Like, oh, we didn't see this issue, now we have to solve for it. Like, hey, now we have this going on. So that's my philosophy of never added a bedroom to a property, never added a bathroom. I literally keep it as simple as possible. Fix it up so it's nice and list it. So I like to keep it as simple as possible, because you get into other things like permits and like other different things. What if the contractor gets sick? And like you have these different things that go wrong. We have Shonda here, says hashtag live. Thanks for hopping on, Shonda. Alfredo here says live. Thank you so much, Alfredo. That's my renovation philosophy. So keep it, like literally keep it as simple as possible. Don't worry about, just keep it as simple as possible. If it needs paint and flooring in a new kitchen, put in paint and flooring in a new kitchen. Don't go crazy. I ran the analysis, interestingly enough. So I ran the analysis on my flips. So like looking at all the flips I've done. And what's interesting, so if you look at it, and there's my portfolio, if you all want to see it, I can drop it in here. Kamisha, hashtag live, thank you so much. Shonda has a question, thanks for hopping on. I'll answer your question here in a second. But if you look at all my portfolio and all my flips, like they're nice, don't get me wrong, like they're nice places and nice houses, and that's all cool, that's all well and good. But what about, if you notice a trend here, like the more I put into renovation, the less profit I make. So some of the best deals we ever did were like, so this is a little mobile home in Archer, Florida. So we bought it for 58, we put in 13. So that was like paint, flooring, and roof, and that's it. And we made 41K. So you'll see that with my portfolio, like the more you put into these deals, like the less profit you make. So like, why not put the bare minimum into doing these and you'll make more? So like anytime you go all out, like anytime like a beginner fix and flip is like, oh, I want to do like HGTV, like, oh, I want to change this and then like add this and demolish that. It's like, oh, whoa, this is, unless like there's a major issue, like I would just fix it. Like I would just keep it as is, keep it as is. A lot of those things are overvalued typically. Like people just want a house that they can live in. They don't want to worry about all these crazy things. So there's a lot of issues there. So I'll answer Shonda's question. I have some more questions, but I'll ask her Shonda's questions. What if the carpet is just okay? Would you leave it or replace with LVP? Typically on ours, For the bulk of it, we almost do like all new paint, all new flooring. So unless the existing flooring is in really good shape, we just rip it out and like do new flooring, because new flooring, especially on a house like an extra bedroom, is plus or minus $1,000, so it doesn't affect the budget that much, but it does look really nice. It does have that like appeal when it's new flooring. If it is carpet, we've been doing recently like LVP all throughout in the main areas like kitchen, living room, all that stuff, hallways, and then carpet in the bedrooms. And that's been working out for us. Carpet in the bedrooms, just because it's a little bit cheaper. Carpet is typically like $250 all in versus LVP are typically like $4 all in. So you save that. You save a little bit of money there. So that's how we've been doing it recently. So hopefully I answered your question there. If it's just okay, I mean, you can also get away with like just cleaning the carpet. If it's decent, if it's newer, you can always just clean the carpet and call it good. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. The other question I got another question today. Oh man, I'm trying to remember it. I typically write these down. I didn't have time to write them down today. I had someone asking me, like, can you get financing for like a property that's a rural property with well and septic? I've never had an issue with that, so I wonder who the hard money lender is. No offense to them. When you're getting into this, like you might believe that sort of stuff, but I've done a lot of properties with like well and septic. Let me think of, especially these mobile homes. Like, I mean, I can pull up my screen again. These mobile homes, especially, I guess that wouldn't be a good example. I'm trying to think of like which one was well and septic recently. That we did. Mary Archer. That was, but no. I've got to go back here quite a bit. This is a mobile home. So mobile home. This one was well. Yeah, this one we got finance for. So like the well and septic, like there's nothing wrong with that. This did a year ago. Geez, June. This one we called Amsterdam House for a number of reasons. But this one was on city sewer, but it was a well. I wonder if you can see in the photos. It was on this side, it's like right behind this house here. So that shouldn't hold you guys back. That shouldn't hold you back from financing it. And just so you know, like, well, what is a well? Well is like some sort of water source. So typically for the water source, like you hook into the city, but a well system, it's very common around here in Florida. Like a well system, like you get well water directly. And the septic system is like the same thing. Like the city has their own sewer and their own processing. You can go off the grid and you have like a septic system. It's more common for more rural properties. I'm trying to find like on the outside. Oh, you can see right there. Boom. So it's like this 3 foot. It's like this 3 foot off the ground, kind of cylindrical, maybe that big, is what a well looks like. I have one listing here. I wonder if you can see it here. So let's pull up the 3D view. So this is a listing I have. It's a mobile home in Morriston we're flipping. So it's exciting. Front yard. So I want to show you guys the well. There it is. Boom. So again, a little cylindrical, 3 foot tall off the ground. That's the well. We got the person's car there, but yeah. I can't remember the question. Can you get financing for well and septic properties? Yes, you can. That shouldn't hold you back. There's that. So Sean has another question. Let's answer that. So how about windows? When do you replace them? If the windows work, even if they're older, even if they're aluminum, whatever, wood siding, whatever, I'd keep them. And why? Just because that same philosophy, like if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's a broken window, you should fix a broken window. People don't want to live with a broken window. So I would recommend fixing it. When do you replace them? If it needs to be replaced, like if the windows don't even work and like everyone's broken, then I would replace the windows. But typically we don't like to replace the windows. It's such a long wait to get windows, especially nowadays. I've heard anywhere, like I did it recently, and that was like an easy window order, and that took I think 3 weeks, which wasn't bad. And then I've also heard up to 6 months, just because of all the shortages and all the nonsense that's going on. So that's typically why we don't do windows. We might list it and then just give a little seller credit for the windows. Or like, hey, or sometimes people are buying the property with the intention, like, hey, we're going to put in new windows. So you just price it accordingly. But I'd rather not deal with it. I'd rather you do 2 flips, like in and out, quick, in and out quick, than one long flip and you're waiting for windows the entire time. Like, would you rather make 25K times 2, or would you rather make 30K, times 1? Big difference. That's my philosophy, like the volume type of thing. Okay. Someone is asking, like, how do you do, what other questions do I get? Should have been more prepared. Sorry about this, guys. What other questions do I get a lot? I'm pulling up here, right? I got some questions here. Oh, someone was asking me recently, like, so I typically buy on what's called 70% rule. So 70% rule is 70% ARV minus repairs. So it's just like this quick mental formula for like understanding if a deal is a deal. So when it comes to a deal, there's so many variables to look at. Like, it's really helpful to just there's so many variables to look at. It's really just helpful to look at a couple numbers. Now it's typically like comes down to 2 numbers. That's ARV and repairs. Because there's variables like, okay, what's the bedrooms, bathrooms? What's the square footage? How's the neighborhood? What's the school district? Is it near a road? Is it, metal roof, asphalt, shingle roof? There's all these different variables. So just to break it down to those numbers. And what people do, they sometimes stray away from that formula. They might do 75% ARV, 80% ARV. And as you can imagine, that's a higher and higher price. I typically like to stay and stick around to that 70% rule. Recently, if the deal's kind of close, or if like there's potential in the deal, and it may strays a little bit, maybe a couple thousand off of that 70% rule, I still do it. I still recommend to do it. Yeah, so even if it's like 75% rule, if you're comfortable with it, I'd say if you're a beginner, like try to get as much profit buffer as possible, just because when you're getting started, like profit is your friend, profit buffer. Like, let's say initially you want to make 40K on a flip, and then like you don't sell it for as much as you want, it takes longer than you want, and then the repairs go over budget. Like, you can still make 20, 25K, because then that profit buffer is your friend. So that's how I look at that. So just having that profit buffer. So the more you overpay and the higher you get, or more you stray away from that 70% rule, like the more likely you are to like run into issues, even lose money or break even. So I don't want you guys to, I want your first deal to be successful. I don't want you to lose money or break even. Well, very cool. So tomorrow, actually, so that's all the questions I have. Actually, I got a question here from Kamisha. So Kamisha asked the question, does an open concept bring more value? It does. It does. It does. Yeah, it does. So people like the open concept more. My point is, like, I wouldn't necessarily rip out walls and do all that stuff, do all the drywall and fix it up to get the open concept. Like, if you can buy a house that has it, great. If you can, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. It does bring more value. It's best if it is open concept, but if it isn't, I wouldn't necessarily convert it, because it is going to be expensive. And again, once you start opening walls, it's suddenly like, okay, well, now this happened, and now we got to fix this, and that breaks into your budget. And like, now to fix these things takes time, and there's a holding cost. Like, to own a property costs money, like property insurance, property taxes, all that stuff. So all that goes into it. All that goes into it. So yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that answered your question, Kamisha. Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do a deep dive. So I sold a flip last week. It was actually a subject to, and I put 0 of my own money into it. I put no money down into it. So I'm going to be doing a deep dive onto it next week. No, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. What am I in? A long day, I suppose. So so tomorrow, 6 p.m., I'm going to do a deep dive into one of my flips. It was about like a 30K net profit flip, and it was quick. It was in and out. Sold last week. You guys probably saw the photo. So I'm doing a deep dive. So make sure to join that tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll wrap it up there. Apologize again for being unprepared, but if you guys have any other questions, drop them below and I'll make sure to answer them. And then again, if you're watching #live, if you're on the replay, comment #replay, but I appreciate you guys joining. Hopefully this has been helpful, and until next time, thanks.